Hi, here's another video. I've got this Eumig C3 8mm camera, which I've been having a look at the internet, and to show you the actual images here. Comes with a case and handwritten manual. This camera was manufactured in 1948 to 1959. Okay, it's for $12.74. I'm not going to argue with that. I've paid for it, and as you can see here, it's arrived. Just taking out the box, and as stated in the listing, put the rubbish out of the way. You've got the handwritten manual here, and then we've got the actual camera and the case, and you can see the case is falling apart. This, like, the threads just rotted away. I'm gonna have to have a look at that. I'm just get the camera out and just you see the case is in pieces. I'm gonna have to have a look at this later on. You see there all the leather stitch, all the stitching's falling apart, but the case itself is in good condition. Just put that to one side for the minute. Okay, turning back to the camera. It seems intact. It's just sticky to the touch. See, all the dials are greasy, so I'm going to give that a clean today. I'm not going to actually put film in and test it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean it with some fairy liquid, because like I said, it's just greasy. It looks like it's been sitting in someone's kitchen somewhere for a while. It's just covered in grease and it's sticky to the touch. So I'm just going to use some fairy liquid and just see if I can get rid of all this grease. So I'm just going to paint it with fairy liquid, trying to avoid the sensitive areas. And I'm just using the stiff brush to scrub it with. And I don't want to damage the actual coating of the paint or the paint itself. You can see me just cleaning the dials. Let's get a earbud just to clean the actual dials itself. Like I said before, I'm just using fairy liquid because harsh chemicals will take the paint and the texture off, and I don't want to do that. You just get this little toothpick just so I get inside the little crevices. See a bit of dirt coming out of there. Inside of there the best I can. And this is the back cover for the door. I'm just going to give that a clean also. Bit of scratches to the paint, but I'm not going to try and make this thing brand new. I want to leave it as it is, but just clean. So you can see me just using a wet wipe just to get rid of some of this grease. There's not much value in these at the moment, average about 30 to 40 quid, but hopefully my grandkids may benefit from it in the future. Okay, so I've got it relatively clean. Let me just show you here. It's a lot brighter now, and as I said, all the grease is gone. It's not sticking to the touch, and you can see it still operates. But like I said before, I'm not going to try and find film to test it. It's a silent movie camera. Let me just show you inside. We've pressed the button on the back. You see that operates also. So it seems to be in a fully operational condition. Just pop this cover back on, and I'll just turn to the case, which will be a little bit tricky in a minute, but let me just show you the finished item. See, I've got it nice and clean there. Pretty satisfied with that. I'm just going to use it as a display piece. I'm not going to use it as a camera. Okay, turning it back to the case. This is going to be a bit more work involved, because you can see the stitchings has just rotted away. You see here, you can literally just pull the thing apart. I think this is just, over the years, the stitching is just rotted away, and when you put the camera in it, obviously inside the case, it'll just disintegrate. So what I'm going to do now, see if I can stitch this back together. I've been having a look at a few videos on the internet on leather stitching. I think this type of stitching is called box stitching. So I'm going to attempt it. First I've got to get rid of these old threads which have rotted. I'm just going to pick them off. This is the top lid's side cover. I'm just picking away the stitching, as you can see there, and it's coming away fairly easy. Okay, right, so let's get these last bit of stitchings off, and then I've managed to purchase some leather stitching thread which is waxed. You can see me just starting to repair the one of the side panels of the top cover with brown wax thread. Fortunately, it's still got a stitching hole, so I'm just gonna see if I can use those. Let's get the needle through there, and I'm gonna have to use a rubber glove here just to pull the needle through because my fingers are sweaty and I can't pull the needle through. So, like I said, this is just a start. I think you're supposed to glue these in before you start stitching them, glue the piece in place, but I couldn't find any glue on this, so I'm just going to stitch it straight without gluing it. Here you can see I've just made a start, got the two holes stitched, and I'm just going to use a bit of sellotape to hold it in position while I start the stitching. Like I said, I've never done this before, leather stitching, but I've looked at a couple of videos on the internet, and I'm going to attempt it. Let me just fast forward this section because it takes ages. Well, it took me a long time anyway. You can see me just stitching the top section. Just speed this section up. And like I said, this is called box stitching apparently. You can see I've started to make progress once I've got the hang of it. And I've got quite a lot of this to do because the other side's broken and part of the front cover. You can see me just finish off, just doing one of the corners here. Just pull it tight. Okay, I've pretty much finished, so all I've got to do is cut these ends off. That's the one side of the top cover. Stitch back up, and then you just use a bit of heat to melt the thread so they don't untangle, and it tucks them out the way nice and neatly, like so. I'm pretty satisfied with that. So I've got to do the other side of this top cover, or the lid, as well as the side panel. See this section here, it's also rotted, so I've got to remove all the thread from, all the rotten thread from that as well as this front section here, side panel here, sorry. And this side panel, the cover seems intact. Okay, so let me just fast forward. See, I've got both sides of the top cover, or the lid of the leather cover stitched there. Like I said, this side's alright with the cover, but this panel's completely rotted, the thread, so what I've got to do exactly the same, just to remove all of the old thread and rethread it. And here you can see me just making a start here on this side panel. And same again, I've just used a bit of sellotape to hold it in position while I'm started the stitching. So I've done both sides now. All I've got to do is cut this thread off, and let me show you there. It's the complete thing stitched up. Took ages, but I've managed to get it done. And then all I'm going to do now, use my heat gun just to get rid of the wax on the thread, and as you can see, it'll make the thread darker also. As you see there, as it gets hot, it melts the thread and makes it darker. See a little close up there. Pretty proud of that, considering I've never done it before. Right, I've put the camera inside the case. This panel is to wind the camera up, as you see there. So it's just a matter of taking it back out. This is how it falls apart because the stitching was rotten. So when you put the camera in or take it out, it totally disintegrates. But I've managed to stitch it back together. Okay, here's the finished items, which I've placed inside a display cabinet, which should keep it in condition, in a good condition. And as you can see, I've placed the camera on top of the turntable. Hopefully for another 60 plus years, should be worth it a bit more. I'll just show you here. Okay, so with that, thanks for watching once again, and please subscribe.